Wisp Sports Radio, the voice of women in sport.
This is Season 1, Episode 1 of Active Health. Thank you for downloading this podcast and welcome to Active Health. I'm Dr. Juliet McGrattan, and this show is about the health niggles and issues that can affect you when you exercise or even prevent you from doing it altogether. I'll be giving you tips and information on how to overcome these problems from my experience as a doctor and a runner.
The advice and recommendations in this podcast do not replace your own healthcare professional who knows your personal history. Neither Wisp Sports or Dr. Juliet McGrattan are responsible for individual medical advice.
In this episode, I'll be talking about hay fever. Now, the summer months, they're just fantastic for getting out and about, enjoying the fresh air and exercising. But, if you're a hay fever sufferer, then this time of year can be pretty miserable. In the Northern Hemisphere, symptoms can start from as early as March when the tree pollens begin to appear, and we're in the thick of it in the UK right now. If you're unlucky, then that sneezing, itching eyes, runny nose can go on right through until October. I've had hay fever and I know that it can make me feel grumpy, lethargic, and not in the least like exercising. And then actually being outdoors just makes things worse. So what can you do to get rid of the symptoms and stop hay fever affecting your plans for being outdoors and exercising through the summer? Well, I've split this up into 4 C's. If you can follow these 4 C's, then it'll help to ease the sneezes and keep you active. So my first C is count, and that is counting the pollen forecast. You can keep an eye on the pollen forecast, and you can usually find one online. In the UK, the Met Office publishes one every day, and you can start to find out what level of pollen you can tolerate. On the worst days, you can then plan and opt to exercise indoors if you prefer. And you can also choose to do those longer outdoor sessions when the pollen count is lower. That's generally on cooler days and after rain. It's better actually to exercise when there's less wind as well, because the wind just blows the pollen around. So first of all, count the pollen. See where you're up to, see what exercise is going to be best suited to that day or that week. The second C is cover. Now, this is all about trying to minimise the amount of contact that pollen has with your body. So it gets on your skin, it gets in your eyes, it gets in your hair, it goes up your nose, etc., etc. And if you can just take some simple steps to cover your body, then that will reduce the amount of pollen that comes into contact with you. So thinking about your eyes, wrap-around sunglasses, ones that actually go round the side of your face a little bit, that will really help to stop the pollen getting in your eyes. A hat with a brim, so a cap, that will limit the amount of pollen generally kind of reaching your face, your eyes and your nose. But also with your nose, one thing you can do is dab a little bit of Vaseline, petroleum jelly type stuff just around the edge of your nostrils, and that will stop the pollen getting in and kind of trap it before it goes inside. If it's not too hot and if you can tolerate it, then actually if you're finding that your nose is worst affected, you can use a light scarf such as a buff type thing that actually covers your nose while you're exercising. Can be a little bit tricky if it is hot, but it is very, very effective. So that's our cover. Third C is clean. So you've done your exercise, you've been outdoors, you're hot, sweaty, etc. Soon as you go in, shower, wash your hair and get that sports kit into the washing machine straight away. The quicker you can get the pollen off your body and get those clothes away from you, the less likely it is the pollen is going to keep affecting you as the day goes on. So shove it all in the washing machine, get in the shower, and a good tip is to actually not put your clothes on the washing line outside. Even if it's a lovely sunny breezy day and you'll know they'll dry in an instant, hanging them on the washing line, they're just going to start gathering pollen, and then when you put them on the next time you'll be exposed to that again. So stick them on a clothes air dryer over the radiator, even if it's not on, inside, and that will help to reduce the amount of pollen affecting you. So that's our clean one. Another thing you can try actually with cleaning, some people say that using a saltwater nasal wash after they've been exercising outside can help to clear your nasal passages, and that can reduce your hay fever symptoms too. So personal choice there, but if your nose is really effective, then you could try using a saltwater nasal wash. Okay, so we've counted, we've covered, we've cleaned. What's my fourth C? Well, my fourth C is to chat. Good at chatting, but particularly chat to your pharmacist. You don't necessarily need to see the doctor about hay fever. You can get an awful lot of information and advice from your local pharmacist. And there's a whole range of hay fever products on the market, the majority of which you can buy over the counter. There's two ways to tackle this. You can focus on the symptom that's giving you the most trouble. So if you find it's always your eyes that are itchy and watery, you can go for an eye drop. If it is more an issue of your nose, then you can look at nasal sprays and drops. Sometimes, in addition, you can also use something that works through the whole body. So we're thinking about antihistamine tablets or liquids here. These will work right through your system and will also help your eyes and your nose, etc. And you can usually use them in conjunction with an eye drop or a nasal spray. But your pharmacist can give you personalised advice about what's going to suit you best. Make sure the products you're using together aren't going to interact, and also that they're safe for you to use alongside any other medications that you're taking or any other medical problems that you might have. This is a area of expertise for pharmacists, so do use them. Generally, most remedies for hay fever work better if you take them regularly, rather than just waiting till things are so bad and then taking something to try and get on top of it. If you are a regular sufferer, then it may well be better for you to take something every day to kind of prevent it building up. Also thinking about pharmacists again and thinking about what's safe for children. This advice is really designed and tailored towards adults, so please don't directly transfer it to your children, and ask your pharmacist what is safe for them to use too. So that's my 4 C's: count, cover, clean, and chat. 4 simple things that you can do that will hopefully help to keep you active over this hay fever season.
Conversations from the world of women's sports. This is Wisp Sports Radio.
I hope you found that helpful. I would love to hear from you. We can get the conversation carrying on social media. You can join on social media at Wisp Sports, or me personally at Juliet McGrattan on Twitter and Instagram, and at Dr. Juliet McGrattan on Facebook. We'd love your feedback. We'd love your ideas for future episodes that you would like to hear about. So feel free to contact us by email at info@wispsports.com. I'm really happy to have brought you the first episode, and I'm already looking forward to the second one. And next time we are going to be talking about blisters, those pesky things that can really stop you in your tracks, quite literally. What can you do to prevent them? What can you do to treat them? So that's what's coming up next. Thank you so much for listening today and supporting women in sport everywhere.